And then they say, I'm going to start a business because I have this passion in woodworking or whatever. But they forget, and maybe a couple of years go by where they haven't been keeping their books as cleanly as they could have. And without good books, you can't read your data and understand it and interpret it to make good growth decisions or to know when it's time to get out. And then you need an exit strategy. So it's very important when you're thinking about purchasing a business or starting a business that you know the beginning, middle, and end. Like, all the pieces, how you're going to get in, how you're going to manage it, and how you're going to get out if things don't go well, or if things go well and you're ready to sell and move on.
You have found Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. Downloadable audio episodes can be found in the podcast link, found at drawincustomers.com. We are locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie.
Us on the Mississippi River.
All right.
So you can see the Mississippi from our campground. And we have 2 cottages that we rent out as well, and a little bathhouse. And then you can bring your RV, or we have a tent site, and come and enjoy beautiful Trempealeau, the beautiful Mississippi River, lots of lakes, lots of fishing. And
Nice.
yeah, it's beautiful.
And how long have you had it?
We are going into our 3rd season.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me, did you start this from scratch or you bought it?
We bought it.
Okay.
Bought it. Yep. So a family owned it before us and really poured a lot of their hearts into it and made it really beautiful. And so they fell in love with campgrounds, realized it's what they wanted to do. So they purchased a much, much bigger campground in a different part of the state. And so they were looking for a family who would take it over and love it as much as they did. So we were very lucky to find them.
So were you looking for a campground to buy?
So it all began in Winona, Minnesota.
Okay.
So follow me back to...
So on the other side of the river?
Yeah, the other side of the river, 20 minutes north of the river. My family planned my family's from the Twin Cities and we're from the Madison area. So we planned to meet midway and do a camping trip. And so we decided on Winona, and because we just love that area. It's just beautiful along the Mississippi River bluffs. So we camped at a beautiful campground in Winona, right on the river. And I just, that was it for me. I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I just want to buy a campground right here on the river. So then a year or 2 later, I just randomly, out of the blue, was Googling, are campgrounds even for sale? Like, how do I even find out? And there was this little campground for sale on the Mississippi River, 20 minutes south of where I fell in love with the idea. And I was like, no, this can't be real. Huh. And I told my husband about it, and I was like, it's crazy, right? It's crazy. And so we reached out to them, and we scheduled a meeting, and I just told my husband, we'll just go.
We're just going to look at this puppy.
We're just going to look at it. On the way north, I think it was for Thanksgiving. So we were going home anyway. So it's just a little out of the way. Mm-hmm. And we go and we look, and oh my God, I just fell in love with it. And it's just beautiful. And so long story short, that was how we stumbled upon it. And we just kind of kept pursuing it. And it just kept in the back of my mind, wouldn't leave me alone. And there we go. We ended up doing it.
I love the entrepreneurial mind where you're not like, hey, we should visit here more. No. You're like, no, we should buy the campground.
Yes. I always tell people I wanted to camp more, but I couldn't afford an RV and a truck to pull the RV. So instead I bought a campground.
That's funny how that's cheaper. Or maybe it's not.
Well, I make it pays for itself as long as it's cash flowing.
Revenue, cash flow. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. So tell me a story about the sites. I'm picturing campgrounds that have, the campers have wheels, but they also have decks and stuff like that. So is it permanent?
Sure. So good question. So since we're right on the river, as a general rule, I only buy properties in floodplains.
Oh, nice. So, they're cheaper that way.
My house is in a floodplain in Black Earth, and my property on Mississippi is. So since we're in a floodplain, we can't have any permanent structures. So the cottages and the bathhouse are grandfathered in, but if we were to build, everything has to be removable. And in our first season owning the campground, sure enough, as you may remember, we had a lot of flooding up in Minnesota, and that water comes down the Mississippi, down the lock and dam system. And so we did flood, and we had to do a small evacuation.
All right, a small evacuation.
Just had to pull everybody out for a couple of weeks and then bring them back. So,
All right.
but yeah, so it's 23 sites, and so they're all movable. We do have some that have little stairs that you can use, but nothing can be really permanent. Everything
Okay.
has to be kind of be able to move. But it's a small, I knew because I have a career and we have a family here. We're 2 hours away, so it had to be something small and manageable that we could handle and not feel overwhelmed. And so it's very small. It's like a acre and a quarter or something like that. And everything is operated remotely. People come and they check themselves in, they book online, check themselves in through some photos that they send us, and we give them the code for the bathhouse and things like that. Our cottages, we use Airbnb and Vrbo, and book on our website, and then we just travel up whenever we need to turn over those cottages, and we clean them out and get them ready. So it was low enough maintenance and small enough and manageable that it has really turned into like we go up every weekend with our family. We do a little bit of cleaning and maintenance, and then we get to go kayaking and we get to go canoeing and we get to do fun things.
A fun business.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah.
So the people, I imagine you have regulars that were with the previous owners.
Yep.
Was there any transition?
Yeah.
Or people that just like, I don't like Rachel or something like that?
I don't know. I haven't had that yet. But we, whenever there's a transition, there is always, they're feeling you out. They don't know what your style is going to be.
Sure.
Or maybe, maybe they weren't a fan of whoever was before you. And so they're going to give you a chance. There's always that. But we do have a large part of our sites are seasonals. And so they do purchase and stay the entire season. So that also helps with stability.
Wow.
And gave me a lot more confidence kind of going into it again, cash flow wise. And then we only have a handful of sites that are turned over kind of nightly.
Okay.
And so that gives me a lot of stability. But making sure we have those sites filled is important. And people love it, though, because we have folks who live there. We had a family stay with us who were building their home. And so they sold their other house and they were still building their new home. So they stayed with us all summer with their kids.
So they had a camper and they just essentially lived there?
Yep.
Well, how clever is that?
And then we have somebody else living there. We get a lot of workers. So we have people laying fiber, and it's cheaper to have a camper and take it with you to your jobs instead of paying for hotels. So we usually every season we get a few of those.
Wow.
So we've been able to accumulate kind of like our steady income, steady folks who kind of come down on the weekends and just camp and enjoy. And we have some workers and a couple people living there. And then everybody else are the sort of overnighters that come on the weekends.
All right. Tell me a story about logistics.
Yeah.
With the power, the water in, the not so nice water out. Yeah. So does each campsite have drainage or however that is?
Yeah, it's a good question. So again, because we're right on the river, we do not have a dump station.
Oh, you do not? Okay.
Nope. So I don't have to mess with any of the gray water or black water stuff. We have a service that comes around as many times as we need, but they come weekly. We're on their weekly route. And if you need a pump out for your gray water tank or black water tank, they come usually while you're gone. And they take care of it for you. And by the time you come the next weekend, your camper is nice and empty.
So they're going site to site. Okay. It's not some big tank or anything. Okay. Nope. Interesting. And how big of a deal is that? Are they attaching a hose to a camper? I don't have campers.
Truck. It's a truck. Yep. And so your camper, on the exterior of your camper, there are your black water outlet and your gray water outlet and then your freshwater outlet. And so they come in and they just hook up to your black water, your gray water. Some people have the delightfully named honey wagon, which is like an overflow for your one of those two. And so they'll clean that out for you. So it's a lovely
All right. So when you are living there, is there no such thing as a 20-minute shower or anything like that? Because...
Sure. So we have a bathhouse, and the bathhouse has a water heater. We have well water, so unlimited amount of water, how much water you want to use. And we have a big water heater, so generally we don't run out of hot water in the bathhouse. We also have laundry, so we offer free laundry to our seasonals.
I didn't even think about laundry.
Yep. So if you're living there, that was a really great addition that we added, because you otherwise you're running to the laundromat all the time and you need quarters. So if you're living there, if you have a seasonal site, it's included, and so they just have to bring their own soap, basically. And so, so all of that is like at home. It's bathrooms that look like a home bathroom. But yes, if you're using your shower or your toilet in your camper, you just monitor. And if you'll have to coordinate a pump out, maybe I'm going to use the bathrooms, down the way a little bit instead of using my camper.
Gotcha.
So you just make those choices yourself.
All right.
Yeah.
And do they have a spigot or something like that at
every
each site?
Every site has a freshwater spigot. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And electric.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me, this is one of those things that I've always been curious
Hmm.
about since we're in the day and age when people are mining Bitcoin and doing stuff
Sure.
like that. And
Yes.
at a campsite,
Yes.
there's power,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So do you ever
What do they do?
have anybody come in and just like, hey, I got
Hook
this
up to my
camper
power.
full of servers?
I like that business idea. No, so they pay for their own electric. So
They
what they
do.
do, it's
It's site
metered.
by site.
Each site is metered electricity. Yep.
Wow.
So if you pay for an overnight site, you're paying more in a nightly sense than you would if you pay for the entire season. Then that brings the price down nightly.
Okay.
So those folks pay metered electricity. So they have unlimited water since it's just well water, but the electricity is metered and they pay for that based on the wattage,
Oh,
just the service price.
all right.
And then, but the overnighters, of course, we don't meter them. They just come in and enjoy.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Tell me a story about the fun, the stuff that they do. Do you have park or I
Yeah.
don't, is there some kind of boat launch or something like
Yeah.
that to the
Yeah.
river?
Good question. So we are located right along the river, but our property does not have a water access. So
Okay.
I don't have to deal with any, boat intake or decks or anything like that. So when you're there, we have a little dog run area. So it's a fenced in area. The idea is where you can like let your dog out and let them run around while you're like getting set up at your campsite. And then right next to that is a swing set and a slide. So there's a little bit for the kids to do. But we don't have, other than that, we don't really have a ton to do on site. We really are sort of a nice, quiet, peaceful, just like base camp for you to then go out and go biking along the Great River Trail or, go to the wineries that are nearby or go do some fishing and things like that. The public boat launch is just around the corner. You can basically see it from the campground. So very easy access to the river and to the lakes that are just down the road as well.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So when you went to look at this place to buy it,
Mm-hmm.
what were you looking for? Like I think of something, I want to buy a motorcycle. I look at the motorcycle. Is it leaking? Does it run nice? What does it sound
Yeah.
like?
Yeah.
What kind of maintenance does it have?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
With a campground,
Yeah. What are you looking at?
I don't know what you're
Yeah.
looking
Yeah. Yeah.
for.
So it is a kind of a two-part purchase because you're purchasing real estate. And,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's a real estate purchase and you're purchasing the business.
Fair.
So there's both pieces. So we definitely went through a lot of due diligence, reviewed financials, looked at the business side of things, and then did a full-on appraisal for the property. They looked for if there had ever been hazardous issues, right? Anything when you're doing a real estate transaction, you have a lawyer go through your purchase agreement and make sure everything looks good. So definitely lots of that. From a strictly sort of like nuts and bolts perspective, my husband and I, we, said living 2 hours away, it has to be low maintenance. It has to be, it's not hard to turn over. So a campsite can have 2 or 3 people go through it before we need to go and dump the ashes out of the fire
All
pit.
right.
Like that's kind of the extent of cleanup. Maybe if there's trash around, of course, we would go pick that up or sticks that have fallen in the wind or something. But generally speaking, campsites are pretty easy to turn over. So we knew if we were busy at work, we've got 2 kids, right? We couldn't get up there, that would be okay.
Okay.
And then the cottages, those you need to go in and kind of manually turn them over. But there's only 2 of them. So that was important for us. If we had more than that, that would be too much. It's more than we wanted to do. So we knew that it would be manageable. And the previous owners were the ones who really established the self-check-in, self-checkout process, all of the online reservations and everything. And when we talked to her, she said, you can operate this whole thing remotely. Nobody has to be here.
Huh.
So we have cameras, we're monitoring, and we have the cameras on our phones and things, and we can always see what's happening. And everything's very secure, but it's in a residential area, which is also really nice. It's quiet, it's peaceful. Families live up the road. There's a restaurant right there. It's very close to the boat launch and the lock and dam, and you just walk right into town and you can go eat at the restaurants and there's supper clubs. So it's just sort of the perfect, it's not so remote that you feel at risk.
Mm-hmm.
It's still very much part of the community. It's in the village of Trempealeau.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone's like, hey, we need some marshmallows, it's not like, oh, that's 3 hours away.
No, not at all. You walk right up the road. We've got a Dollar General just up the road.
Of course,
I
right?
mean, LaCasse is 20 minutes away, so we run to Menards all the time and get stuff, So it's lovely having, you feel remote and it feels you're in the woods because there's lots of mature trees and the river's right there and you can hear the barges and the trains go by. Like it's very beautiful and serene,
Mm-hmm.
but anything you need is within walking distance or a short drive.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a story about the appraisal.
Mm-hmm.
Because the appraiser is typically going to look at, for real
Yeah.
estate anyways, they're going to look at comparables. I don't know how many campsites change hands that often in the LaCrosse area.
Sure. So it is an interesting industry, but once you get into the camping industry in Wisconsin, and probably across the nation, but especially in Wisconsin, it is its own, it's self-contained industry. So there are your bank people, your real estate people, right? Your legal people. There are the people who know the industry.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. So once you get hooked up with them, you join what's called WACO, which is the Wisconsin Association of Campground Owners. It's our statewide trade association, and they're phenomenal.
There's a trade association for everything. Yeah. My goodness.
Yeah. It's a very well run organization.
Well, that's great.
They do wonderful work. And so if you go to their convention every year, you meet all of these people. You meet the bank people, and you meet the real estate people, and all of those people were the ones who helped us along in our transaction.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you know of Waco previous to buying?
No.
No. Okay.
The broker who was helping them sell is the broker who does a lot of these transactions.
Oh,
and
funny.
So he connected us to the organization. And
all right.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you this. I don't know if you know the answer or not.
Okay.
How often is there turnover of ownership of a campground?
I don't know this, but my sense is lots of campgrounds are family run, kind of like ours. And so when I went to the Waco convention last year, I went to a young professionals group that they have, and I think I was the only person in the room who didn't inherit it from their family or like grew up on the campground.
Wow.
Because their parents owned it. And then this is their next generation, and they're learning how to kind of take over. So a lot of the conversation was like, how do I get dad out of the office so I can like do the work? So it's really interesting. But yeah, that's a very small sample size, but my sense was a lot of campgrounds in Wisconsin are family owned.
All right.
Run. Yeah.
I wonder, I guess in my head, the campgrounds that I've been to, it always seemed like it's a family thing, or there's some 90-year-old woman behind the counter that you assume was born there.
Yes, right. Probably. Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to think, like, if I'm a broker for this industry, I got to make that one sale every 3 decades.
Right.
And if I don't make that sale.
Well, the other thing I will say is there's a lot, though. A lot more than you realize, again, until you're kind of in the industry. Right. So my family, for this summer, we're planning a big trip out to Montana. And I know to like look for the private campgrounds because that had never crossed my mind, because you can't get into the national parks, right? Like they're full. Like, it's already too late. I've waited too long.
Yeah, you didn't reserve it 5 years ahead or something?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I'll just look for the private campgrounds. And there are so many. I mean, there's just so many private campgrounds.
All right.
Everywhere. Yeah.
How do you determine if it's a good private campground or not?
Well, it's very similar to hospitality. So when you're booking a hotel, you probably check reviews. You're probably seeing how many stars they have, right, on TripAdvisor or any of those booking sites. And just like you use probably Airbnb and Vrbo, there are campground specific apps that you can use. And so they all have a rating system. You can leave reviews. So it's very similar to booking your hotel. You're looking for something that people say is like clean, well kept, safe. Are you looking for something that has a lot of kid activities, right? You can go find that. If you're looking for something like ours that's quieter and doesn't attract lots of children, there's those, so you can really kind of start to navigate and think about like, what's the type of campground I like? And then that's how you can kind of whittle it down and then kind of go by reviews and see if it's a good review.
I want to talk about pricing.
Yeah.
Because people are essentially renting a very small spot of land for a relatively short amount of time.
Yeah.
How do you figure out what to charge?
Well, that was, purchasing the business, we had sort of the established rates. So that was kind of, we didn't start from scratch, but you do kind of a market analysis. We have some of the lowest rates in the area strictly because we don't have a lot of bells and whistles. You come and you're getting access to a beautiful area, but you're not getting the bouncy houses and the pools with the big things and all that kind of stuff. So we keep ours moderately priced and affordable, and we just try to kind of increase it with inflation to kind of adjust for increases in expenses for us. But
right on.
Yeah.
Tell me a story about taxes, because is it riverfront? It must be if you flood.
Our property does not touch the river, so I don't have any riverfront.
So you don't have to pay the tax for being along the water, okay? You just have to pay we're flooding.
Right, I do have flood insurance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And what what kind of damage are we talking if everybody moves all their campers out?
Yep. Yeah. So my husband and I got to go through this 2 years ago.
I love that you say you got to. This is
So
enjoy.
fun.
Look at this opportunity.
So it's a fun story. I also live in Black Earth, which also floods sometimes. And the year we bought our house was the 100-year flood back in 2019.
How awesome is that?
Yeah. So that year we also got to go
Look
through
what we
a flood.
got to do.
Lucky us. It was so fun. So I definitely prefer the Mississippi River because we get 2 weeks notice. So it's because of the lock and dam system. It's never
Wow.
going to be a flash flood.
Okay.
Any rain that we get goes downriver. So that's their problem. Sorry, downriver. But if the water is coming in, snow melts, too much snow, and it all melts at once up in Minnesota, that collects, and then the lock and dam system, they alert us and they let us know, and they say, you've basically got 2 weeks. We're going to be opening up and releasing some of the water because it's getting too much up here. Otherwise, the flooding will be too bad upriver. So we get 2 weeks. We let folks know that they need to coordinate. They need to just pull their RV up, and we have a parking lot that's up by the lock and dam where they can go easily park, and we just, shut her all down. So then my husband and I went around after we got everybody out, and, you just do a little bit of mitigation. We hauled all of our picnic tables to the highest point in the campground, and that happens to be our site. And you can tell that the water didn't even get up that far. So it really is the highest point. So we haul everything kind of up there. We have to do a couple of things in the cottages and the bathhouse. You have to plug the toilets, and you have to plug so that the water doesn't kind of equalize and then have backflow. And so we had to do that process. We lifted everything in our cottages as much as we could up onto sawhorses, just in case water got in. Luckily, it didn't get high enough to get into the cottages. We did get a tiny bit of water in our bathhouse, and so we had some mucking out to do from there. But we thought maybe next time we would do more sandbagging and things like that. But the nice thing is you have the time. Since it's the river, we know it's coming. It's just the countdown, and you go and you do the mitigation work, and then we have cameras and we just watch. So that year, that year we just kept watching it, and we would take pictures and write on it when it was at this level so that we know. And the water slowly comes over the road, and then it slowly makes its way in, and it slowly rises. So we probably had a foot or two of water just across the whole campground.
Wow!
And we had carp would swim in the campground. We found snakes, tons of snakes after the water receded, and we kind of went in to clean up. So lots of wildlife that followed the river in, and then sometimes they would die because the water would go back out.
Sure.
Then would get stinky, but yeah.
So 2 weeks notice, that seems like a lot.
Yeah.
Was that expected?
Yeah.
Or did you know that ahead of time?
Yes, we did. We were aware. Yeah.
All right.
I know. My husband's like, why do we keep buying properties in floodplains? Because I love water. I don't know.
Well, I mean, 2 weeks notice, that seems like a lot for hey, you got to move a camper. That means that somebody could be like, I'll get there next weekend.
Yeah. It is.
It'll flood later.
You let them know, and you say what the deadline is, how long you have to remove, and if you need help, let us know. And
it's interesting. How do the people that figure that out know that it's going to be that time frame?
It's the Army Corps of Engineers and NOAA.
Okay.
The North American Atmospheric something or other.
Okay.
That's the website we go on and we watch. And they track all waterways. So even the Black Earth Creek where we live, we can see if it's going up and down. That is flash flood, though. So, I get a 5 minutes notice as opposed to 2 weeks notice on that one. But yeah, we spend a lot of time on that website.
How cool is that? Yeah. All right. Do you have to flag? This is where the spigot is, just in case I'm picturing a bunch of sediment or something like that.
No, it wasn't too bad, actually. Some of our rocks, we think, got moved, from a site. Mm-hmm. Why are there so many rocks over here? And it's just the other day, and I said, I think maybe that was the flood, picked some up and carried them over there.
Oh, wow.
So a little bit of that. So we're working on, 2 years later now, we're looking at our driveway to see if maybe we need to get a fresh layer of rock, kind of put
gotcha.
Reflatten it out a little, but.
Okay.
But pretty
How
minimal
cool
damage.
Is that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And when you call people up and you're like, hey, in 2 weeks, this place is going to flood, you got to move your camper.
Yeah.
Are they all upset, or they're like, oh, yeah, this happens?
Yeah, it's in their contract.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we let them know when they book that this is always a possibility. You can see the river. It's beautiful. That's part of the appeal. But, with that comes just your willingness to put up with a little bit of risk.
Sure. So that's an accepted. You're next to the Mississippi River. Things happen.
Yeah, we're definitely not the only campground next to the Mississippi River.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we're in good company when it comes to we're all facing this, us and upriver and downriver, depending on when the flooding or where the flooding is exactly. And so we get calls, are you flooding? Our campground's flooding, so we try to help each other out. Yeah.
So I was just in San Diego a couple months ago and in the ocean doing this little kayak trip. And the tour guide is explaining how there's all this water erosion.
Yeah.
And you can see houses that are right on the edge. And it feels like a bad storm. That house is just going to sink in.
It could be.
And they're pretty fancy houses. And this tour guide is explaining how, that's going to happen.
Yep.
So in the case of this, do you keep losing property?
Well, again, I suppose that could happen. But the nice thing where we are is so the lock and dam and then the beautiful big river. And then we have a little inlet. So the water you see from our property, you can see the river, but most of the water you see is actually an inlet. So it's protected. So there's no
so it's not washing away.
There's no washing away. And we do, where the lock and dam is, especially with the tugs going up and down, pushing the barges through the lock, there is a lot of kind of stirring up of the sediment and things. So they dredge every year.
Oh, they do?
They pull sand out. Yep. So that's a fun thing to watch. All the big diggers and the big barges. And
I'm imagining the scale that has to happen at.
All the way down the river too, like we're just one lock and dam. It's a whole system.
That is insane.
Yeah. It's I think from the Twin Cities down to St. Louis or something. It's a long stretch.
I mean, it's got to be what, 15, 20 lock and dam?
Yeah, something like that. We're number 4, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Because when I was a kid, we used to take the Great River Road.
Yes. We're on
and
the
stop
Great
at
River Road.
and stop at a few, and you stop at little cafes in the towns. It was always fun.
Yes, I love that drive. So you hop on the Great River Road and you go north on the Wisconsin side, or you can go north on the Minnesota side, and you get a slightly different experience, depending on what side you go. And they're both beautiful. I love the Wisconsin side because of all those small towns, and you can stop and enjoy them. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
it was always neat to see when a ship would approach the lock, and you're like, oh, we get to watch this. But...
yeah, you can get up there and there's like an overlook, and we talk to the folks and we ask them where they're from and, where are you coming from? Or where are you going? And,
all right.
Yeah, we ask their stories. Yeah, it's so fun. We bring the kids up there. The kids love it. And whenever, you can hear the honk of the barge or the tug or whoever it is making that honking noise whenever they're like ready to go or something. I don't know what it is. My family's thing is we go barge, like we stop what we're doing, we yell barge, and then we keep going.
Oh, that's funny. I always think of the little boats, and you see a boat, just a little tiny boat. I mean, I guess any boat compared to a barge is small.
Going through the lock, yes.
And you're down that far, just waiting for the water to come up. That would seem so creepy to me.
Yeah, it's so cool, though.
It is super cool.
Really cool. Yeah.
Just like, please raise the water level.
I hope it works. This is going to work, right?
Yeah.
It will.
It's surreal.
Yeah.
So surreal. Tell me a story about the campers that you see as far as the RVs that come through there.
Oh, yeah, sure. So most of them are pretty standard. I mean, there's, once you get into RVs, you realize, again, just like campgrounds, there's so many different kinds of RVs. And is it a fifth wheel or is it just a travel trailer? And so we get all kinds, just like the pull behind, the really, really big ones. We get big motorhomes occasionally. My favorite, though, are the ice houses.
That's where you can lift the wheels.
Yeah, so it's like they look like they belong like an ice house, like out on a lake. And but they have wheels. And then when you get to a place, they're these big boxy things. And then they just flat and straight and they sit flat on the ground.
All right.
And you're just like, how did you even get this in here? But it's because there's like a hydraulic and it lifts them back up. They're just wild looking.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And they're using those year round.
Yeah, they must. And they must take them out and use them for ice fishing, and then they use them in the summer.
Huh.
That's smart.
I can remember being at a campsite forever ago, and I'm more of a tent camper.
Yeah.
So I remember my buddies and I are sitting around at this, I call them golf course campsites, where it's just all grass, and I'm like, is this really nature? Anyways, we're watching this guy back up his camper, and he's having a rough time.
Yes, it's challenging.
And for us, we're kind of being jerks, not meaning to, but like we're just drinking beer watching this guy.
Yeah.
And that's probably not helping
I mean,
him.
it's,
right.
It's part of the experience.
So, I'm like, you showed up here.
That's right.
And you got this 80-foot trailer, whatever, and we just
and
threw up a tent. Or a few tents. So our job was way easier. How often are people running into things at your campsite?
So generally people are pretty good. I mean, for the most part, they know what they're doing. It's only been a couple of times in the last two years that somebody's like, I need help. Like,
Oh,
will somebody be on site when I get there? Because I'm traveling by myself and I have nobody to spot me in the back.
okay,
Things
fair.
like that. And not having staff all the time makes it a little challenging, but we're very lucky. So my dad is retired and he is a handyman who can fix anything. I
Nice.
promise you, anything he can
Good
fix.
person to have in your
Yes.
corner.
And I have told him many times, I would not have even thought about buying a campground if I knew you weren't like in my corner and like
Wow.
could fix things, because I would
Alright.
have no idea how to fix many things. So he gets to live his best retired life in an RV site that we give him because he's our maintenance man. And so in exchange for a lovely place to live and park his boat and go fishing as much as he wants, he gets to be our maintenance man, but he also was a truck driver with a CDL.
Ah,
So he can back up anything. So he's
gotcha.
often on site. So he has been there a couple of times to help people
Okay.
get positioned or just spot. I mean, I've spotted people and, tell them keep going until they hit something. And but generally everybody's been very good. We have had very, no issues really.
Alright.
Mhm.
I can remember, so I used to deliver beer
Mm.
forever ago,
Mhm.
and it was one of those companies, a big company, so I went there, I got my CDL
Mhm.
through them,
Mhm.
and it was kind of a push 'em in, shove 'em out. I shouldn't have been driving that truck. I could drive very well in a straight line.
Yeah.
Backing up, I
Not
took
so
for
nice.
granted air brakes,
Oh yeah.
and so I was backing up into this small town gas station, which was very tight. I ended up using the brakes too much, so I used up all the air,
Uh-huh.
which meant that I was blocking the intersection.
Yes.
I didn't mean to,
Yeah.
but like the air brakes go, and so you have to wait for the air to recharge.
Oh my
And
gosh.
see all these people just honking like,
Yeah.
"Get out of the road!" I'm like, I would love to,
Right.
and I'm doing everything that I can to get out of the road, but we gotta wait for, like, they don't know,
No,
right?
and I would not know. I mean, my dad just he grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
He was in the Navy, was a machinist,
Oh, wow.
and yeah, I mean, then he drove truck. He was a bus driver. He's just the kind of guy who can fix and build anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a great respect for
Yeah.
people that can back up well.
Yes.
It is
Yeah.
very rare.
Yeah.
So rare.
Yeah.
So kudos to you guys. I'm just worried about somebody hitting a water main or something like that.
I mean, it could happen.
All right.
Yeah.
So someday
We trust
we're
people.
flooded for something else without 2 weeks notice, right?
That's right. That's
So after your few years in, 3 years,
fine. Headed into our third season.
headed into the third seat.
Mhm.
Okay. Tell me about marketing. How do you let people know for
Mhm.
the spots that you have available?
Yeah.
How do you get on the rooftop and yell like, "Hey,
Yeah.
we got spots available"?
Yeah. So generally speaking, so I come from hospitality. I used to run a hotel, and so I learned a lot about how, and it makes sense intuitively. When you're traveling, sometimes you are at home planning your trip and your vacation. Sometimes you're literally on the road, and aren't going to make it as far as you thought you would. And so I want to find a place to stay. So generally speaking, online marketing is the way to go. Especially you want to think about your website. You want it to be SEO optimized. Nowadays, we're talking about AI optimization as well. So you want to make sure when you're building your website, you are including keywords, phrases, things like that you want the the Googles of the world to find when people are searching for campground near me. So RV sites, campground, right? You're thinking of all the different words that people might be searching for. Um, I also at the Waco this is an advertisement for any campground owners who aren't members of Waco. You need to join. So when when I went to the convention, they had a wonderful guest speaker who talked about your website needs these 5 things, and
Okay.
that's it, right? And so it really helped me simplify my website,
Ah,
and it was very good, great advice. And so I really overhauled my website, and we use a booking engine, and so that's just sort of a separate service that you pay for, and so people can book directly on our website. And we also use Airbnb, Vrbo, HipCamp, all of those kind of third party. There's quite a few third parties that either do our cottages or our campsites or both. And so you're just trying to get as much kind of digital access to people as possible. And then in addition to that, we make sure that our literature is so we're very close to Perot State Park, which is a lovely state
oh,
park.
beautiful park.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's just down the road from us.
Nice.
So we're good friends with them. We bring them our brochures because they fill up before we do. Because their state parks in Wisconsin are also very hard to book.
Oh my gosh.
don't get
January
them. Yeah.
2nd, you got to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but people show up anyway. So they show up and they don't have any sites, so they send them to us. So it's a wonderful.
They show up
referral.
just cold?
Yeah, they
You
will.
got room for me?
Yeah, they'll try.
I got a
Yeah.
50-foot trailer behind me.
Yeah. So they'll refer people to us, which is wonderful. So we try to go around and make ourselves known and to the community so that they can help us out.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
So do you remember those 5 things? for the
Yeah,
website?
yeah. It was a really good homepage with just kind of your basic information and a map and your rules. And then it was like amenities. You need a page about amenities. You need a page about your rates. And then I don't remember what the other ones were, but like it was just very simple and just that. Like, don't waste your time with all of this mumbo jumbo. These are the things they're looking for.
All
Just
right.
use those things. So
Tell me a story about drinking and people being loud after hours, because
it happens.
I've certainly been to campsites where me and my crew were the loud ones. And I've been at campsites where you're with your family where you're like other people are the loud ones.
Yeah.
And you've also been at campsites where it's not drunk people, it's just kids.
Yeah.
Or young kids that are being the loud
Yeah,
ones.
yeah.
Or dogs.
Yeah.
Just insert annoying thing here. And sometimes you're the annoying person.
Right.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah. Well, coming from hospitality made it a little easier because I've dealt with many, different challenges in my time. And so I think the way I approach it is you sort of are aware of your surroundings. So is there a group of people here who are taking up basically the entire campground? Are they probably disturbing anybody? Do I need to say anything or can I just let it ride? We do have quiet hours. So if people, I had last season, I had a group that were having a good time and it got to be like 11 o'clock. And I think my quiet hour starts at 10, but I was being lenient. And finally I just went over and I said, you guys, I just need you to can you just at least turn off the music,
Sure.
things like that. And you're just friendly, keep
Right.
it light, and people are lovely. I haven't had anybody disgruntled or anything. Definitely if we start getting complaints, then of course we address it immediately. But yeah, you just kind of stay aware and kind of see if it seems like the kind of thing that other people would be impacted by and then
It's just
address it nicely.
campsites are so interesting because sound seems to carry 50 times farther. And if you're in a tent, I mean,
Yeah, there's no
the canvas wall isn't exactly
Yeah.
soundproof. And a camper is not that much better. That's
No.
a quarter inch of plastic or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, like anybody making noise of any kind, it's heard everywhere.
It is, yeah. And we really pay attention to those quiet hours when people are trying to sleep.
Gotcha.
We've got kids, so I mean we're there too, also trying to sleep.
Right? Fair.
So-
Keep it down. Who's
Yeah,
in charge
yeah,
over here?
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me about the website. Did you essentially, I want to say inherit, but you bought a website from?
So I did. We purchased. We got the logo and the website. And I, coming from with my background in hospitality, and I have built websites and have done a bit in marketing. I knew that was the first thing that I really wanted to just create fresh for myself because I had a vision for, clean lines and just a little bit easier user experience. And so I took the information that was on that website and I kind of built it into my new website, got a new property management system, which is the booking engine side of things. So that for me was sort of the fun of doing a business startup, is getting to build those assets.
Gotcha. Tell me a story with your husband when you're like, hey, we're just going to check out this campsite or campground, I should say.
Yeah.
How tough was it for him to be convinced?
Yeah. So my husband is wonderful.
Okay.
I have to say.
Right.
He follows me to the ends of the earth and lets me do all these crazy things. But we've always wanted to own a business.
Okay.
So it's always been one of those things, especially once I got into management and I was really good at it and I treat every business that I've run as if it was my own. And so we've always said someday we'll own a business. Who knows what it will be. But when we see it, we'll know it or whatever. So it wasn't too hard of a sell. I think the thing to be honest about and transparent about when people are thinking about a big transaction like this is that it is very scary. Right. I mean, you take on debt, you have a business loan, it's a real estate purchase. And so it's scary and you have to really do your due diligence, make sure it makes sense, and then check again, because if you make a poor investment, it can be, that becomes a challenge for your family because it's a family.
Oh, no doubt.
Right.
No doubt.
And so I think it's very important to be thinking about, what you're getting into. You have a really good plan for once you get in. You've got really good systems already that you're thinking about. You know how to do really good bookkeeping already, right? Or you find people who can teach you those skills or who can work with you. Because I think a lot of small business owners have a passion and then they say, I'm going to start a business because I have this passion in woodworking or whatever. but they forget, and maybe a couple of years go by where they haven't been keeping their books as cleanly as they could have. And without good books, you can't read your data and understand it and interpret it to make good growth decisions or to know when it's time to get out. And then you need an exit strategy. So it's very important when you're thinking about purchasing a business or starting a business that you know the beginning, middle, and end. Like, all the pieces, how you're going to get in, how you're going to manage it, and how you're going to get out if things don't go well, or if things go well and you're ready to sell and move on. So that was, I think because we came at it very pragmatically, we asked for help, right? I mean, we got legal advice. I have other business owners that I know who I was able to ask questions of, and I have people who buy and sell real estate, and I had them look over it and see if they thought it was a good investment, and all this kind of stuff. So it's definitely about leveraging your relationships and making sure that you sort of fully understand the full picture. And I think once we had that, we felt confident in that. My husband is like, I trust you. I mean, this is what you do. So
Nice.
it could be great.
That's awesome.
We'll give it a go.
You raised a good point about people being passionate about their business and then kind of forgetting about the paperwork and stuff like that.
It's very important.
Way back when I had a copy repair company, and I remember getting a phone call from a client saying, "Hey, you're going to send us that invoice?" And I remember being on the phone thinking, this is probably the worst phone call I could get. Because I'm doing the work, but I wasn't actually saying, "Hey, you can pay me." Right?
Minor details.
Yeah, I was just like, are you a moron, James? What is wrong with you?
Well, I think it's easy to forget those details, especially when my journey's just like almost reverse, where I started running businesses for other people and could learn on the job while earning a salary and having none of that risk. And then I was able to feel confident enough to say, I think we could do this risk and do it ourselves, for ourselves. So I think that is sometimes unique. I think often it's the other way.
It's fair.
But, I think there are good resources out there for people who are starting businesses. The Small Business Development Center in Madison is phenomenal. WIBIC is really wonderful. There's resources like that offer coaching, training, classes, a lot of it for free. So definitely worth checking out those resources.
Yeah, I teach sometimes at WIBIC.
That's great.
And it's interesting because I'll tell people, I just taught a intro to business planning class last week.
Great.
And I told the students, I'm like, just figure out where you're at from a financial point of view personally.
Yeah.
And then wherever you are, good or bad, add a 0, because that's the way you're going to look at numbers in business.
Yeah, interesting.
I was talking about something, I forget what it was. Maybe it was just creating an LLC. In Wisconsin's $150, $160. And they're like, $160, whatever. And I understand that's a lot of money if you're not bringing an income.
Yes.
But I'm like, you got to look at this from the point of view that you're going to make money with a thing.
Right.
And I understand there's a point when you're first starting your business where you're like, I don't know if I'm going to make money.
Yeah. I mean, it's very fluid, and it can be very fluid. And one of the mistakes I think a lot of people make is not clearly delineating your personal finances from your business.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. And a lot of the untangling later that you have to do later is very painful. So it's much better. First thing we did was we got a work credit card. First thing we did was got a work bank account. Like everything is separate. We have never had anything mixed. And at the end of every year, taxes are super simple. We work with our accountant. I send him all the paperwork, and when we're done, like it has been the easiest thing. But again, I learned that on the job from managing businesses. And if you've never had that experience, you wouldn't know why it's important to keep all your receipts or.
Oh, it's a huge deal. Yeah. You raised an interesting point. So with our call answering service, we'll have some potential clients come to us and their personal cell phone is also their business line. And I tell them, I'm like, look, man, I would love you to be our client. And if you want to be our client, I'm very happy for that.
Right.
But regardless of if you come with us or not, separate your business and your personal.
I'm just going to stop you there.
Let's just forget about us, right? Come back to that. Take the, I'm going to say 5 minutes, but probably 2 hours at whatever cell phone store you're at. Get another number. That new number is your personal number. Your old number that all the business people have, that's your business number.
So my husband and I use Google Voice.
Okay.
And so that number is a different number, but it goes to both of our phones.
Smart.
So then if I'm at work and not available, my husband's a stay-at-home dad, so he's got more time. And so he answers the phone.
Does he agree with that?
That's an excellent point. I doubt it.
Sure, fair. But that's great, right? Because then it's independent.
Yes. And that was part of it too. So he hasn't always been a stay-at-home dad. But when we bought the campground, he had a job where it was very deadline driven and he didn't have the flexibility to like go up and clean or go help somebody if they needed help. So we were able to make the business decision that with the income from the campground, we were able to replace it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So over these almost 3 seasons,
Mm-hmm.
what are some things now that you wish you learned or knew
Mm-hmm.
previous to purchasing the campground?
Well, I think now being 3 years in and having gone through a flood, there are certain like capital things that I'm realizing that we really need to start sort of a capital fund because we're going to need to replace, and then there's going to be a roof at some point. And, there's going to be a lot of capital investments that will need to happen at some point. So that's something that, not that I didn't think it would ever happen, but it's just, only this many years in and I'm like, I need to start seriously putting money into an account for that. So things like that, the property is going to age and we will need to make upgrades. But other than that, I mean, I really feel, I think business is like part skills that you build and, sort of your personality and having an entrepreneurial spirit, but also a lot of luck.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
So I just feel very lucky looking back. That we've had 2 strong seasons. Our first 2 seasons were very strong and we were able to pay all of our bills and have even money left over. And
Whoop.
yeah, I know, right? Cash flow. So, and it's hard because when you're building a business from scratch, often you won't make money the first however many years. And so being able to figure that out is very challenging. So I think so far, so good. We've only had 1 flood and not minimal damage. And it's been a good business and it's been really good for my family. I have a 14-year-old who loves working at the campground and earning money.
Nice.
And, he power washes buildings and trims trees and he does a great job. And then my daughter is the camp hostess. She's 7 and
okay.
She loves people. So she loves making friends. And
how cool is that?
Really fun.
All right.
Yeah.
And I imagine you get to know, because you guys are at the campground
we go every
pretty
weekend.
often. Okay. So you probably get to know people that are
Yes.
there for the season.
We do. We get to know people. We get to know the area. That was a really lovely surprise. I just didn't really think about it, but it became our second home. But it also is a whole new community to experience. So it's a new town. It's all new. The local business owners, I'll go and introduce myself. So I get to meet a whole nother group of business owners and managers that I didn't know before. Their local village administrator is lovely. And I love talking to him. Like it's a whole nother group of people that we get to be part of, like this, another
that's
part
awesome.
of our family. And just that whole beautiful area that we get to explore that we wouldn't have necessarily other than a trip or 2, maybe a year.
Sure.
So,
how cool is that?
Yeah.
So future, is it expand? Is it get a new campground or
good question.
Just add on? What's the plan?
Okay, so my new vision that I'm working toward
All right.
is when
your husband's like, what?
Yeah, he's on board. He likes it. So our kids are so like I said, my youngest is 7. So my goal is when we're empty nesters someday, we'll move in. I'll have a job where I can just work remote and do anything, and we'll go live at the campground all summer in our camper and like rent out our house, or whatever. And then in the winter, when we shut down, we can just go and work wherever we want, and we could like live in a camper by the beach and do all the things. So
that sounds pretty cool.
So that's what I'm working toward now. I have another entrepreneurial glint in my eye for another business that I'm hoping to build that will be at a point where it will sustain us at that point. So I've got 25 years to build a business.
25 years?
Yeah.
You got a 7-year-old kid, you got 11.
Well, I got to get her through college.
Oh, okay. That's
they come back,
Runway's getting longer there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, 15 to 20 years, we'll say.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah.
That is, I guess, the blessing and the curse, right? Of being an entrepreneur where you're like, I got another idea.
I do. But I'm really good with long runways. Like I need to know 20 years from now what we're aiming toward, because then I can think of all the things I need to do to lay the groundwork now.
Right on.
While, supporting my family and the career that I love.
Sure.
Things like that. So.
Interesting. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Rachel, how can people find you?
So we are online, lakeroadcampground.com.
No dashes, just all one word.
All one word. Yep. And we're on Instagram and Facebook. You can also find our cottages on like Airbnb or any of your favorite booking platforms. If you're a camper and you use HipCamp or any of those, we're on all of those, I believe.
All right, what is HipCamp?
Yeah. It's a booking platform like Airbnb, but for campsites.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
It's hip. All right. I'm out of touch with stuff like that.
Wow.
Whatever. Who knew? This has been Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. We are locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. If you're listening or watching this on the web, if you could do us a huge favor, give us a big old thumbs up, subscribe, and of course, share with your entrepreneurial friends and those friends that may need a campground to check out is it Trempealeau? Trempealeau on the Great Mississippi?
Yeah.
Is
the
that
Great
it?
River Road along the Mississippi River.
Yeah, in Wisconsin. Beautiful Wisconsin. Oh, we'd like to thank your wonderful listeners as well as our guest, Rachel of Lake Road Campground. Rachel, can you tell us that website one more time?
Sure. LakeRoadCampground.com.
Doesn't get easier than that. Is it on Lake Road?
It is on Lake Road.
All right. Well, it doesn't get easier than that.
No,
I love it. Past episodes can be found morning, noon, and night at the podcast link found at drawIncustomers.com. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. I want you to stay awesome. And if you do nothing else, enjoy your business. And Authentic Business Adventures is brought to you by Calls on Call, offering call answering and receptionist services for service businesses across the country on the web at callsoncall.com. And of course, the Bold Business Book, a book for the entrepreneur and all of us, available wherever fine books are sold.